Hi guys, I'm back today. Really interesting mission. So this time I'm trying to get a 3-star first try. And well, I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, this isn't a first try." Uh, you gotta just trust me, I guess. I had not played a domination game in months. Really, I've been playing mostly polychamps. And once you get used to playing against people, bots get pretty easy. But this game wasn't exactly like that. Hold up, I'm gonna move my mic real quick. Alright, so as you can see, I kind of spawned in the middle of the map. It's a little uncomfortable, and a spawn like this, I kind of get excited when I see this and I'm playing against bots. Playing on crazy difficulty right now. I believe 5 opponents on a large map. I kind of get excited when I spawn right in the middle because that means I'm going to be surrounded by enemies and they'll frequently gang up on you, like here. And, I might have to use like 1% of my power, you know? Uh, and that really excites me. I think that happened in this game. I got surrounded by 5 hostile tribes. And they were all pretty strong, but you'll see what happens. I still had to use some of my power on this one. But this was a really fun game. So as you can see right here, I meet Imperius. It seems like the northern frontier is open to me. But I can't take that for granted right now. The south is really, really populated though. So seeing I got all these enemy tribes in the south, I'm thinking I gotta get some border cities to sit as a buffer between me, well, my capital, which is, like my core territory, and the tribes down south. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm fighting over that disputed village. I'm trying to fortify the existing buffer zone I have right here with Imperius. Uh, and now to the northern frontier, it's mostly just making money up there. Right now I'm playing the long game. I know I can't push right away, and a lot of people think, "Oh, I got an army. Let me just attack now." No, because if you want 3 stars, you have 30 turns to take people out, and for most guys, that's really easy. That's really doable. So here I swoop in. The one tribe you can't really ever play the long game with is Polaris. So Polaris they get a super unit, and it might be over for you, even as a human player. So you really have to just go at them as soon as possible, pretty much on sight. However, now that they've lost that city, they stop being really a major threat. So I can deal with them, a little bit more diplomatically. As you can see, Imperius is the second strongest in the game. They have a formidable army at this point. And, well, I don't know. Apparently, the bot is pretty wise here because they're going for that frontier city I have in the west. Maybe as a pathway inwards to my core territory at my capital. But I know that I can't lose that city. Because once I lose that city, my heartland is completely opened up. So that's what I mean, guys. You gotta get sort of like border cities that are just gonna be frontiers for you. You want to hold there as far as people attack, and once you can defend that attack, you can use it to project power onto the other weak boys. Right here, you're starting to see things are starting to get kind of spicy. They all gang up on me, all of them. You see it, Cincy, Polaris, and Imperius. They're all squad. They're all a squad together, and I don't think I've met Sabazi yet at this point, but they're gonna join the fray pretty soon. And yeah, at this point, I can attack, or I can just take the L, and I'm taking the L here, because I see how strong the Allied army is in the south, going for that border city, and I know I counterattack and I'm just going to lose that unit. And if I lose that unit, what does that mean? Maybe the path for my capital is beginning to open up, and I don't want that to happen. At this point, I just want to minimize my losses. So I'm getting some money in the north, just chilling, just making some money. Trying to recover some strength here. I know I was a bit overstretched. I underestimated the bots here. The bots kind of caught me lacking. So I'm trying to regroup. I'm trying to be on the defensive, build up an army, and then just counterattack. Because one thing about the bots is the bots never really advance technologically. So if they catch you lacking early, they rush you. They beat you with warriors, with riders. Best thing you can do is just hold, fortify the territories you already have. Stop them from entering and attacking your core territory, which is my capital and the north. Because realistically, my capital isn't even my core territory at this point. My main money-making centers are going to be in the north long term. So my capital has really just become a border city at this point. I'm going to want to hold the capital and keep the north safe so I can keep making money and have hope for a future victory. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm being on the defensive, and usually if you're on the defensive, they'll sort of chill out. And you can expect that a human will usually outperform the bot when it comes to the economy. Even though I think the crazy bot, has some buffs. But you just build up your economy, and you get some really nice techs. You get some giants, you get some catapults, some riders, some warriors. And that way, they won't know that eventually you're going to break the truce. You get the catapults pointed at them, and then you do the ambush, and then you counter-strike. And that's what I'm preparing to do right here. I know, with the primitive techs, I don't really stand a chance against the Allied army, because it's very strong. And actually, Polaris is probably more advanced than me, tech-wise. So I'm just biding for time right now. And Imperius is being really aggressive. They're being smart here. Kind of surprising for a bot. They're playing like a person. So, just buying time. That's my mission right now. Getting riding. It's usually something you want to do. And I got my new city. I want to make some money. And that's a really nice spot to make some catapults to point at Sing Si. Especially because it's really hard to catch it from that little one tile they have to attack through. Although I do see that they have ports, which is going to make this a whole lot more interesting. And as you can see right here, I'm pretty scared by what Imperius is doing in the north. If they grab that city, the entire northern frontier is at danger. So that's a must-have. I got to win this battle to win this war, most likely. That's what I'm doing right now. I see that I could make an attack on Sing Si this turn, but what would I get? I would get a slap back, and I'd lose all these turns of preparation. So I'm just trying to hold back until I can land a knockout blow. Because, usually with these things, if you're going to surprise attack someone, you got to hold back until you can completely destroy them, and they don't have the ability to either fight back or to either fight back or stop you, really. So that's the thing. You want a guaranteed victory. And with people, it's not the same. With people, there's no such thing as a truce. With people, you're going to have to get messy. You're going to have to be taking a whole lot of casualties. And that's not what I'm trying to do here for this bot game. So just understand, when you're facing a person, none of this really applies. You're just going to want to just yeet them from the start. Just manhandle them. Get an early giant and rush them down, pretty much. You can't really be as patient, because usually a human game is going to be over by turn 15 between pretty good players, unless if it's a massive map. So yeah, the early game is super important with real players, but in a bot game, you can give yourself a little bit more time. You can be a little bit more fancy. You can be a little bit more strategic, more diplomatic. And that's what I'm trying to do right now, you know? It kind of gives it a different flavor, something that's interesting. I'm going to make some money off of this city to probably train some catapults for next turn. I think my army's in a pretty good state right now. The bots, even the crazy bots, they don't really have an ear for when you're strong enough to attack them. So if they usually try to surprise attack you, they try to sucker punch you, kind of Pearl Harbor style, it won't be that strong. They'll be really, really dumb about how they do it. They'll just hit a few warriors on the front line, and, you know, they didn't really get anything out of the element of surprise, and that's what's different with a human player, that a human player can think long term. And a bot really just analyzes the situation of this turn, and what can I do this turn to make the war go better this turn if there is a war happening. And if there's not a war happening, I really don't know how they decide to start one. But that's your advantage as a human. You can think long term, so you need to utilize that. Now for this playthrough, I'm going for a 3-star, as I said at the start. So that's why I'm being extra deliberate. Usually I'd want to just blitz them, but I want to keep casualties to the minimum. And I think I've already lost a unit when CNC took that city, and I was trying to stay clean, but, you know, things often don't go according to plan. But I still think I'm on track, not for a 100%, but for a 3-star here. And I'm making the catapult. So it's the day of reckoning. I'm going to have my surprise attack on the eastern front. Basically on all fronts. I'm gonna go off right now. And I'm winning in the north against Imperius. They've been giving me some trouble. But at the end of the day, I think my economy and the northern territories I grabbed at the start are going to do it for me. And that's another reason why I'm always telling guys, don't level up turn 0. That's a really bad idea. Because you lose a turn claiming things, you know? With 2 warriors early on, you can go and you can get dibs on more villages, and you can sort of fill up the map up to like the edge, right? So think about it. If I hadn't gotten that second warrior turn 0, Imperius might have grabbed Roflaro? Yeah, Roflaro. Roflaro? I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't speak Martyr. They might have grabbed Roflaro. And if they did that, the north would have been contested. Especially, look at how close Roflaro is to the Imperius capital. I think that's the Imperius capital, but if it's not, the point still stands. It's very close to Imperius territory. And the fact that I could grab that means I could cut them out from the northern frontier, and I can capture that whole region, which is really easily defendable, and which is a huge moneymaker and can power this whole war effort. Now what you're seeing right now is my surprise attack on CNC. I killed that warrior with the catapult, and I hit the rider defending their city with both of my warriors. And I think I'm going to hold back on attacking this city this turn because I see the Zabazi warriors and riders are coming in, and it's a pretty strong army. I know they've been fighting a little bit, but as soon as I walk in, I'm the #1 tribe. I think that the AI might conspire against me, and besides, I kind of want them to conspire against me here, just to make this interesting. Otherwise, it's a little bit too easy. So I'm waiting until next turn because I feel like they could counter me very easily and they could kill my unit. And realistically, long term, I want to win this war. I don't want instant gratification. That's what separates me from the bot. Now this is really, Imperius is being real difficult with me. They're digging in with defenders. But I want to tell you guys something. I wouldn't advise defenders in most situations. Because if you look at what Imperius is doing, Imperius is buying time, right? But as they buy time and they don't attack me, I can make catapults, I can make riders, I can make offensive units, and eventually all this time they bought is going to run out. And they're giving up the initiative. If you want to win a game against a human player, yes, sometimes you are going to need defenders if the other person is in the middle of an offensive and you need to stop it. But long term, holding is literally just holding, if that makes sense. You need to have initiative if you're going to win a war. You need to go on the offensive. You need to make the enemy react to you. And by doing defenders, you're just reacting. You're playing to their game plan. And it's not something I would advise. It's something a lot of rookies do. And obviously it's a great tech to have. Don't get me wrong. But it's kind of a mistake, right? It's not always right. So at least keep that in mind. What is the end condition for me to win this war? This one, for example, on the continent, it's going to be cavalry. It's going to be strong land forces. And I got the catapults to help me with the surprise attack. And in Imperius, they're going to be very useful because at that point, it's just siege warfare because they got all these defenders. But down south, against Zabazi, against Polaris and all that, oh yeah, it's just going to be cavalry. And that's why I got the road, so I can get some movement in. I can rush the cities really quickly. Because remember, I got to get this done by turn 30. I'm trying to rush them because it's just going to be a land war at that point. And yeah, I discovered a new city in the north. The north was the hidden gem in this game. It's what actually kind of was a blessing for my tribe. This might have been harder if there had been another tribe in the north. Maybe if Polaris had been in the north, I would have been completely surrounded. And usually, this is something I'd advise. You want to fight your way to the edge of the map. Because you don't want your border to constantly have, enemy tribes on it. Because then you're overstretched. You can't defend anything. You need to invest more and more and more and more in military. And if you invest more and more and more in military, it's harder to keep it up if you're at war, if you're losing people, because then you can't invest in economy like everyone else probably can. You're kind of stuck in a cycle of war. Now right here, I'm I remember that was a mistake. I thought that rider could still attack. It's pretty confusing sometimes. What I'm scared of on the Imperius front is I'm going to lose some people, and that might disqualify me for the 3-star. And I'm trying to end this game as cleanly as possible. By now, I think the victory is going to happen. But in perfection games, this is kind of what separates everybody from the people with really good scores, the people who can play all these hybrid tribes. Speaking of that, I'm going to make a video in the future on hybrid tribes, where you can play as Umajir, you can play as Impdur. I don't know, that sounds weird. It sounds like I'm speaking some foreign language, but no. Umajir is Umaji Venger. And that's really weird, but if you get 3 stars on 2 tribes, you can click on both of them at the same time, and you will get a blended tribe, such as Umajir. And I have 3-star on Umajir and Venger. It's pretty embarrassing. I haven't tried any other ones because I haven't gotten any other 3 stars. But don't blame me. I have an excuse. I don't do it often. So basically, it's you basically play as a tribe, but you have the skin of the other, and the cities are different, but the map type is the same. So what's an example? Umajir, you can have Wenger warrior types, Wenger unit types, Wenger style cities, but the spawn is Umaji. It's actually super cool. I'm gonna do a video soon where Umajir takes over the world with some crazy bots. And it can be the opposite. You can be on Wenger territory, start with swordmen, but you have the Umaji cities and the Umaji unit types. So right now, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to send in the super units over there to hit that fortified city, get a catapult in case they make a defender. I can get some extra firepower on it, and then I can move in my giant without having to take any damage. And I'm building all this cavalry because I analyzed the wind condition in the south. It's a continent. It's mostly plains. So what dominates on a continent with mostly plains? It's cavalry all the way. So I'm going heavy on that right now. I'm sieging out Polaris right now, but Zabazi is looking really, really weak. Zabazi is just breaking right now. So I'm trying to bring all my army to the west because Imperius is still giving me trouble. And with all those warriors they have up north, they're threatening my catapult in Roflaro. But yeah, I'm hitting them right now because I got a ton of forces that I'm moving in from the other fronts. And I'm a little afraid that I'm gonna take a death or a casualty from that rider because it's just sitting around. Alright, I want to end this war as quickly as possible. Get my 3-star battle skills. I'm at 87%. It's not too good. I think a mistake I made in this game was I should have maybe let it play on for a little bit longer so I could get some more kills against Imperius to buff up my battle skill score. But I tried to just be as efficient as possible, just end this as quickly as I can. And at Zabazi, I'm going to get a few extra over here. As you can see over there, it's going to be like 5 this turn already. Nice. So we mopped them up. We just mopped up Polaris. We're close to mopping up Imperius, but they're still strong. I honestly think that this bot, gotta congratulate the bot. The bot deserves to be used in future iterations. Like, you guys ever heard of machine learning? Where this is an idea I have. Maybe this is how the crazy bots are going to work in the future. Like, they have a version of the bot, and if the bot loses, it gets scrapped. But if the bot beats a human, it'll be preserved. And I think, the Imperius bot lost to me. But I kind of think it should be spared. It had a decent game. It played well, I wouldn't say that it really threatened me very much. Like Cincy actually took a city from me, but they really didn't have a whole lot of ambition. They should have just kept the foot on the gas from there and just blitzed me. But I think Imp was the best teammate here, because when I was trying to go right at them, what did they do? They made defenders, and usually one-on-one in a war, that's not going to work. Long term you're going to lose. But what were they doing? They were buying time for their allies, for their teammates. So I have a bunch of troops tied down in the west. While obviously they try to make an offensive on the eastern fronts, on the southern fronts, maybe into my capital from the city Cincy took from me. But that's the problem. Imperius was really the only smart bot here. Everyone else was a bum. So, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get bad teammates. And we saw that here today. It's a sad story. At this point, I'm trying to clean them up. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. The good thing about all these defenders he's built is they realistically can't threaten me very much. So I can, siege with this 5 HP rider. And for the most part, I'm good. I'm good because these defenders can't really hit me too hard. Now, basically everything's falling right now. I'm really hoping I can get that. I got 50% tribes destroyed, but I still have a few others I'm going to destroy. Now, that was pretty dumb. I'm not going to lie. That rider could have hit the city that was sieging his capital. and he could have saved his capital. I'd say it's probably more important. But yeah, Imperius is dead. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I'm at 90% battle score right now. About to take out Sabazi. Yeah, I mean, maybe I used like 0.001% of my power today, but it was an interesting game. It was a cool game. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty nice spawn. So I feel like I'm gonna get some haters in the comments saying, "Oh, yeah, you got a nice spawn, you got a nice spawn. He's talking about this previous star with that great spawn." And yeah, you're right. I got a great spawn here. So my cheating ways continue yet again.